If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get alerts when we introduce new videos.
Welcome to this demonstration of the RUCKUS Analytics Cloud Service for Network Intelligence and Service Assurance. The videos in this series will describe the various views, services, and capabilities of the RUCKUS Analytics platform. In this video, I'll be covering the administrative operations of defining resource groups, adding and assigning users to resource groups, and allowing administrative access to the RUCKUS technical support team. So let's get started. Okay, here we are. I'm already logged into RUCKUS Analytics. The administrative functions we'll be covering are found in the admin section over here on the left side pane. Clicking on this expands to show multiple subsections for configuration. In this presentation, we'll be looking at users, resource groups, and support. I'm going to start with resource groups. Resource groups define which devices group members have access to. Clicking on the label opens up the resource groups page. On this page, you'll see any configured resource groups in the main section of the page. We currently have a default group, an onboarder group, and a test group. These groups can be edited by clicking on the pencil icon on the right-hand side of the row. And as you can see on the bottom here, the system prevents you from editing your own resource group. This prevents you from denying yourself access to potentially critical resources. So I'm going to click Cancel here. But we can create a new resource group by clicking on Create Resource Group at the top of the page. In the dialog box that pops up, you must provide a name for the group and can also provide an optional description. Below that is the selection area. First, notice that there are two groups to select from. You have APs on the left and switches on the right. Clicking on the name populates the box below with the network hierarchy of that device type. You can tell which is selected by the text color and the underline. Then you can use the toggle switch to disable access to all devices of a certain type. Here I'll disable switch management for this resource group. Now for the selection pane. This area is separated into two parts, a hierarchy section on the left and a device selection on the right. By default, all devices are selected, as you can see right here. On the left, under the network level, is the cluster level of the Smart Zone hierarchy. These can be expanded to display separate zones, and then even further to different AP groups. Clicking on any of the names of clusters, zones, or AP groups will display all devices that are present under it on the right-hand side of the page. But notice that none of the devices are checked when you simply click on the name. Now clicking the checkbox next to one of those names will select all of the devices that reside under that checked level. Next, notice that we can still select or deselect individual APs on the right, but understand that if I do select a device that was selected as part of a network group, that network group is no longer selected. And this is an important thing to understand, because if a network group marked all APs selected as used, any new APs added to that network group will automatically be included in the resource group. As soon as you begin selecting and deselecting individual devices from that group, all devices, including new additions, will have to be manually selected. Okay, now that we've made our selections, I'll click Create to save the resource group. And now you can see we have it listed here on the main page. Alright, now that we've defined what resources are accessible to the group, let's see how we assign the group to a user. We do this by clicking on the Users label on the left side pane. First, you'll see a list of current users. Notice each user is assigned a resource group of default or onboarder. So we'll now go through the process you would follow to add new users and to assign them to a resource group. On the top right, you can either add internal user or invite a third-party user. Add internal users allows you to add users that belong to your organization. Invite third-party users allows you to send an invitation to a user who does not belong to your organization. However, in both cases, the user or invitee must have an existing RUCKUS support account. As you can see, clicking on Invite Third-Party User opens a dialog for you to type in a third-party user's email address. Then click Find for the RUCKUS support account to be validated, and then you would click Invite. When you select Add Internal User, all fields are populated with drop-down boxes. First is the email address of the user. In my case, all users within my organization have already been added, but in your case, this drop-down would be populated with users identified as within your organization on your RUCKUS support account. The next step is assigning the resource group. In the drop-down, you can see and select from available resource groups, and we'll choose the one we just created. The last step is to assign the role, and there are 3 roles to choose from. Admins have access to all of RUCKUS Analytics functionality for the devices in the assigned resource group. This includes the Analytics section, all reports, the Data Explorer, and admin operations, but again, only in relation to devices in the assigned resource group. Admins also have the ability to enable RUCKUS support, which we'll discuss in a few minutes. Now, network admins have all of the same privileges as admins, except they cannot enable RUCKUS support. And then last, we have the report-only role, and this only allows access to reports and the Data Explorer. They cannot view analytics data or perform admin functions. Once all 3 of these options are selected, you would click Add to add the user account with only those resources and privileges you specified. The last item to cover in this presentation is the support feature. This is accessed by clicking on the Support label on the left side pane. This is simply a toggle switch that allows temporary administrator level access to RUCKUS technical support to assist with issues you might be seeing with RUCKUS Analytics. Simply toggle the switch to on to allow access, and then off when your support session is complete. So this completes this presentation covering the administrative operations of defining resource groups, adding and assigning users to resource groups, and allowing administrative access to the RUCKUS technical support team. I hope you found this information useful, and I hope you return for more of the presentations in this RUCKUS Analytics series. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation.